finally have the entire chapter 15 of Two Blue Vortex, and it seems like Ikemoto knows exactly what he's doing, like by drawing this scene where Boruto and Kawaki's position is exactly the same as the prologue sequence. A lot has went into this chapter, from a sigh of relief to the fatal consequences that no one is ready for. Like, it's now official that Kawaki has got some sort of limiters, something that I already pointed out in my last video and even months ago on this channel. Just like how Amado was hindering Code's powers, the same is being done with Kawaki. That's why his karma ain't able to give him the full experience of Isshiki or Otsutsuki, as Code himself mentioned in an older chapter, that the karma users can utilize the full experience of their host Otsutsuki. But looking at how Kawaki got destroyed by Jura, something was smelling fishy from the beginning. Well, the secrets have been unveiled in this chapter, and the suspicious scientist looks surprised. Maybe it's a sign that the karma of Kawaki has something beyond Akebi's DNA. I would say there is definitely some shady stuff being done by Amado, as it was shown that he could see the conversation that Boruto was having through Kawaki's eyes. This means he must have seen him sealing Naruto too, and he knew this all this time but remained to stay silent. Or it could be argued that this was a later addition to Kawaki's body, but since there is no need for him to do a modification like this to Kawaki after omnipotence, unless the realization of the karma holding Akebi's DNA made him have an eye on the vessel, it's pretty clear that he knows a lot of things that he hasn't revealed to anybody. Like, let's say he knows about omnipotence, cause he could see through Kawaki's eyes all this time, but he would rather stay quiet and focus on reviving Akebi or fulfilling his goal instead of confronting Kawaki for his deeds. This means the whole identifying the karma narrative was a big fat lie that he revealed to Konoha, as he may have noticed people getting concerned about the switcheroo, or maybe he had an ulterior motive behind revealing this detail too. After all, if he was able to use Kawaki's eyes to spy on Boruto, then he definitely knows about omnipotence and their place switch up as well. Well, coming back to the chapter, it starts off with a flashback sequence type of thing, where we get to see Team Shinki and Gaara fighting against Masuri and the Grimes. It seems like the Kazekage was trying to save the younger generation by preventing them from fighting the broken enemies, but the stubbornness of Shinki manifested and he was able to trap his godfather using a sand ball. Little did he know that he would get bitten by a claw grime after using his sealing technique, followed by Masuri wishing for him to join them, and that's what exactly happened. Ryu, the Shinju clone of Shinki, was born, and the first thing that he did after emerging was catching a suspicious spy, the one and only Code. The amount of humiliation that Code faced in this chapter was not surprising at all, yet he said something in the lines of he would be laughing in the end, as if he would turn out to be the final boss, something highly unlikely yet still a possibility. After getting caught, Jura showed some gratitude towards him, since it's only because of Code that Shinjus were born. Then they had a conversation about getting rid of Boruto and Kawaki, but Jura responded by saying that the plan is currently on hold. He further told Code that he's free to kill Boruto but spare Kawaki since he will be used as a sacrifice. Code responds by saying he's the one who will consume the chakra fruit and not them, but Jura asks him to stop dreaming, and he starts wondering what would happen if he eats that fruit instead. Furious to hear what Jura declared, Code tries to attack him with his claws, but got his arm chopped off in a classic humiliating manner. We then see him healing his wounds through the claw marks, followed by Jura offering him a hard-to-deny deal. He asks him to kill Kashin Koji and Boruto, and in return, Code gets promised a chakra fruit, which carries the whole genetic information of this planet. We are then taken to Code yapping about how he would be the one to laugh in the end, but his escape kinda confirms that he might go after Boruto, or more likely Kashin Koji, since he's an easy target. The Shinjus don't want to waste their energy at things which do not benefit them at all, and just because killing Boruto was something that they could outsource to someone else, which is exactly what Jura did, by giving Code the best deal to fill his purposeless existence. It seems like they are too serious on their main plan of acting on their instinctual needs, which is to devour people like Himawari, Sarada and Aida. They are now leaned more towards intellectual evolution than becoming a more powerful version of themselves. This may be why Jura offered Code the chakra fruit, assuming he's not lying in this statement. Also, the fact that he's grateful to Code again raises the possibility for them to pay him back through some means. We then get to see the reveal of Ryu's target, which turned out to be Gaara, just as we predicted a month ago. Now the cool thing here is that Gaara is sealed in the sand ball, and only Shinki or his Shinju Shinju can unseal him. So maybe we are one step closer to witnessing what happens when a Shinju devours on his instinctual target. And it's obvious that we will see someone dying due to the gluttony of these humanoid creatures. But before I explain how and why, take a look at this panel where Mamushi says he feels relieved on seeing the disgust that Code has to go through for some reasons. Well, we as the audience know that it's the feelings of Bug that are making Mamushi feel good. Most likely because Code used to mistreat the old guy, which is why his Shinju clone feels pleasant to see him end up like this. So basically there are 5 Shinjus and 4 of them are headed towards Konoha, but only one of them is going to the Sand Village. Boruto can apparently handle all of them in a one-on-one fight except Jura, and we still don't know how long will it take for Kawaki to upgrade his powers. Plus the involvement of Daemon against these creatures is a mystery as well. So assuming all of them go after their certain targets at the same time, it's literally impossible to save all of them, meaning that someone would need to die, and I think that someone is Konohamaru. I would have betted on Gaara, but since Boruto needs to go back to Koji, it's likely that he may encounter Ryu attacking the sand, meaning that he has a chance to prevent Gaara from getting devoured. Kawaki, after getting his karma upgraded, must be able to deal with Jura, and Daemon can easily destroy Mamushi. So the only Shinju whose instinctual target doesn't have any strong protector is Konohamaru. Well, coming back to the chapter, Ikemoto is back at doing his foreshadowings with Naoto's Hokage Rock. It's the place where everything started and is destined to end as well, but their fate has flipped, and now we are left with the most interesting plot twist of the story so far. Boruto could be seen resting on the Hokage Rock when suddenly Kawaki approached, who looked perplexed. He did not keep things to himself and questions Boruto that why didn't he reveal everything to the village. I think it now makes sense why Kawaki didn't like Hima calling him his brother. He's literally sick of a stolen life and was expecting Boruto to expose him in front of the village. The conversation also reveals Boruto's knowledge of the consequences after exposing Kawaki. It may or may not put him in trouble, but won't be much help against the humanoid Ten-Tails. That's why Boruto believes in the most logical option available. He needs to recruit fighters who have the potential to defeat the Shinjus, and Kawaki is the only person whom he can rely on at this moment. He wants him to get stronger, as there is no way to get rid of the Shinju boss Jura all alone. So he asks Kawaki to get stronger, but to no one's surprise, the wielder of Isshiki's power is more interested in the fate of Momoshiki, and this is when we receive the first ever information on Boruto's host Otsutsuki. It seems like he had taken over Boruto during the Code fight, which was the last time when he felt the sensation of getting overwhelmed by an inner beast, like a state between life and death, where you are conscious yet don't feel the control of your body. This scary scenario had feared Boruto so much that he stopped using karma for 2 whole years, and surprisingly, Momoshiki has remained silent ever since Boruto left Konoha. So what in the world could he be cooking? Considering he has a foresight of his own, it seems like he's playing 3-dimensional chess here, whose glimpse is impossible to catch. Well, one thing is clear, that the karma's activation being the reason for Momoshiki's emergence is just an assumption of Boruto and not a concrete fact. It's not something that Kashin Koji foresaw with prescience, which means the monster is actually cooking something huge in silence that no one knows about. The story of Boruto and his time skip experiences with Momoshiki apparently wasn't enough to assure Kawaki, so the young lord said what he had said to him on the same place 3 years ago: "If I ever go berserk, make sure to kill me." And these lines acted as a form of assurance to Kawaki, after which Boruto dropped the bombshell of revelation on him. Amado, the Kara scientist, for some reasons has hindered his offensive abilities with limiters, but he made sure to adjust his defensive and regenerative powers so that he survives major wounds and injuries. Then we see Amado looking at this interaction between the two brothers. Upon realizing that Kashin Koji may be alive, he starts thinking about the role that Kashin Koji is supposed to fulfill in the game this late. The way he's referring to these events as game only hints at him planning something which requires strategy and tactics. He seems to have remained silent about many things, especially the events that he witnessed through the eyes of Kawaki. So here's a theory that I think would term Amado as the real mastermind. What if he has access to Code's vision as well, and he has witnessed the entire Shinju awakening by himself? That would be an interesting plot twist, considering how Amado may be using these characters to acquire his true goal. Well, back to Kawaki, Boruto asks him to go and question Amado about the limiters. He certainly couldn't attain the full battle experience of Isshiki or Sasuke, and with the reveal of the reason being Amado, it seems like the next chapter will be about Kawaki attaining his limitless form. As I mentioned in a previous video, the defeat of Shinjus is supposed to undergo by the hands of a character who would upgrade his powers to another level. There seems to be a pattern going on with Boruto, where the characters had to climb an extra cliff to get rid of the threat in front of them. For Momoshiki, it was the joint effort of Naruto and Sasuke, concluding with the giant father-son Rasengan. Isshiki was a threat beyond Kaguya, so Naruto had to tap into a never-before-seen transformation, the Baryon mode, to deal with him. Then the assault of Code happened and Kawaki had to activate his newly acquired Karma to destroy him. The limitless form of Code was the next big thing, but it too got handled first with Daemon, the wielder of Shibai's power, and then with the Usuhiko ability of Boruto. So this makes one thing clear that no existing technique or plans are enough to deal with these tailed creatures, especially their boss Jura, who was able to feint Boruto with a single laser hit. The best way to deal with him must be to either come up with new powers or upgrade the existing ones. Then we are left with the final two panels, which set the scene for what's about to happen in the next chapter. As you can see, Amado saw the whole conversation, so even if he was unaware of the omnipotence, which likely isn't the case, then he can use the detail of the secret that Boruto was talking about as a leverage against Kawaki. But looking at how he failed against Code when he asked him to remove the limiters, I don't think he will be able to do anything now, even after knowing what Kawaki has done. So he's basically helpless in this situation, and as Boruto asks Kawaki to go and have a talk about this with Amado himself, we are likely gonna see the awakening of Kawaki's real powers in the next chapter. He would apparently smack Amado to the wall and ask him to say the code, which would unlock his real power. So after giving us a hint about the events of the next chapter, Kawaki makes a bold statement by saying all the Otsutsukis with no exceptions should die, which includes him and Boruto as well. So here we get a deeper understanding of Kawaki's ideology. Not only is he now willing to team up with Boruto to get rid of the bigger threat, but he's more concerned about killing every Otsutsuki, which includes him and Boruto as well. This takes us back to chapter 77, where he declared his will to kill every Otsutsuki, and when he said to Naruto that he's okay with dying after fulfilling his mission, he did not want to die out of remorse for what he did to Boruto, but actually for the fact that he too is a dangerous Otsutsuki. He doesn't want any of this race to live, as they have brought troubles to mankind over the ages. Even the Ten Tails and the Shinju mess is a direct outcome of what Otsutsukis have done in the past. The juvenile Ten Tails was there because of Isshiki, and Code also obtained the Shinjutsu of claw marks upon the orders of the same being. So assuming there was no Otsutsukis in this world, no problem would have existed as well. But just because these beings are still there, Kawaki wants to kill them all. This is why he was shocked to hear that Momoshiki hasn't spoken for so long. He could be coming up with a massive plan since he has a future side of his own. And I think I have got the topic for my next video, so make sure to subscribe to find out what Momoshiki may be planning. The chapter concludes on Kawaki telling Boruto that he will catch up with him soon and he's willing to help them too. And with a wholesome reunion of the Karma duo, the stakes are now high for characters like Amado and Code. Both of them will now need to do something which wasn't a part of their comfortable plan, with Code needing to eliminate Boruto that he thought would be done by the Shinjus themselves, and Amado needing to remove Kawaki's limiters, something that he could have used as leverage for a greater goal. Maybe he wanted to see how far Kawaki would go in search of power, but since we are about to see him getting bullied in the next chapter, it would certainly make him spit something, which could add an interesting layer to the plot. Cause even though he would make Kawaki an Isshiki level fighter, we shouldn't forget he has got a shutdown code for him as well, along with 24/7 surveillance through his eyes, which can still let him have an upper hand in the game. I have talked about Kawaki's power up theory in the right video, so make sure to check it out if you haven't already. I will see you next time.